All right, guys. If I think you guys can tell now, we moved outside. We were inside. Now we're outside, and I hope to not get any more text messages to just pop up. But what I was saying, my number two guy, I actually had two, and this one I forgot about this, so I looked at it. So Rungvisai, I had him on there, and I was, for the obvious reasons, why he's going and why he's making that leap. Yeah, you get two wins. I think only one was deserved, but you get two wins, and if nothing else, it was two great showings against what was considered the number one fighter in the world. You know, Unfortunately, again, it's super flyweight. You're not going to be as popular as some of those other fighters, but I think he makes a big leap. And then number two, also, like I think you had him too, was Errol Spence, and it's a glamour division, so I have him a little. I named him afterwards because I have him a little bit higher because it's a glamour division. It's a welterweight division. Uh, you know, it wasn't the fact that he beat Brook because actually he struggled early against Brook. Brook has been around the block a couple times. So it wasn't easy for him, and that's good that it wasn't just a gift title like some of these guys get, especially these prospects. Um, you know, but he's a name. The fact we were saying he scared the shit out of. It seemed like he scared the shit out of Thurman. Now here's the one issue though, and this is why he's right there tied with Sorong for me is he's too young to be fighting one time in 2017. I mean, look, this is a PBC issue. Al Heyman fighters, some of them fight. The Charlos fought a couple times. J Rock fought a couple times. There are a couple guys who do, but when you have a guy like Spence, one time, guy like Thurman, one time, Garcia, one time. Hey, finally Sean Porter got in twice. It's like these guys are their prime of their career. They should not be fighting one time a year. It's a bad look, and people start to forget about you after you've been out for so long. This is why the shine on Thurman has dropped. Danny Garcia, actually, there was a lot of people who thought he probably should have got the decision against Thurman because Thurman went into retreat mode, and yet you still haven't seen him. And now he's supposed to fight Brandon Rios, which I think is a closer fight than people think. Inactivity is one of the big reasons why, but he's going to fight in January against Lamont Peterson. And that you're looking for that next star in the welterweight division. It's going to be him, Thurman, and Crawford. I think those are the three names that you're looking at. The other two were already established, but this year, Errol Spence put his name up on that billboard. Who was your number one?
Lomachenko. I mean, he's he's just hot at the right time, doing all the right things. He's getting the right breaks. He's getting the right promo. People are falling in love with his style. So to me, even and I hate to say this, but it's actually true about every boxer who becomes a superstar, and they even overlook the questionable things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, this dude is a star. Like they're gonna make he's got a lot of wiggle room to go up.
Mm.
So I think he has the biggest upside.
Yeah. And for me, the number one guy who went superstar, even though he kind of was there already, but he took it to that next level in the most glamorous division is Anthony Joshua. He went from, was he a star already? Yes, he was. He absolutely was a star. But he went to that next level of superstardom. I mean, when you're going from selling out 20,000 seat arenas to 90,000 seat stadiums and then following up against a nobody, once to calm, fell out. No, Tacom went in. Walk fell out, right?
Yeah.
And you're still selling 70,000 seats. And if you fought Wilder, it's at least 90,000. It doesn't really matter at this point who he fights. He's going to sell. If they want to, he's going to sell 70 to 90,000 every single time he fights. That's just the level of where he's at. And in the most glamorous division, him and Wilder get together. It's almost better for boxing overall that Joshua wins, but the selfish side of the Americans is we want Wilder to win because then he could become a star. The only problem is, for me, is what is Heyman going to do with him? He was building something I thought pretty good in Alabama, and it kind of went away.
I don't think I think he's still with Heyman under management, but I think he's kind of moving in his own direction as far as promotional company.
Well, he's actually a self-promoter as far as I'm concerned, because you're not going to look. That's the one thing. There's not good publicity with Heyman clients. That's just a fact. I mean, it's not a hating thing. It's just a fact, because Heyman's not a face, and so I know he has DeBella. But DeBella is here or there. He pops up here and there. He's not a guy who promotes. You never see him on TV and shit like that, unless it's Showtime. So you kind of, I want him to win, selfishly as an American heavyweight, to be a star, but there's two things that's great about the atmosphere of a UK fight crowd is unbelievable. And the fact that their fights come on at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon here. It's, I gotta be honest, it's a little selfish on that part too. But to me, Anthony Joshua, he is the guy in boxing right now. He's the number one money maker in all of boxing, even more than Canelo, as far as I'm concerned. Canelo's getting there. Upset of the year. I know that I'm springing this one on you a little bit here. I'll go through. I got a couple of them before I get to my number one. Billy Joe Saunders upset, not in the fact that he upset Lemieux, because I think that was a 50-50 fight. People thought, you had half the thought that either one was going to win. It was the way that he did it. It was a guy who on this side of the pond had become a joke to a guy like, okay, well, we got to take him a little bit serious, because he's going to pose problem. If that version of Billy Joe Saunders shows up, he's going to be an issue for anybody at middleweight. You know what I mean? So it wasn't an upset as far as as the win, but at the way he won, that was the biggest upset, because it was like, oh, we do have to take this guy seriously.
That's very true.
Another one I had, and this is before I even get to my top three, was Bellew TKO David Haye. Yeah, well, look, I know that the Achilles went out or whatever, but that he knew that going into that fight. And the fact is, he still should have been able to knock, because his legs looked like they were okay the first 2 rounds. He still should have been able to knock out Bellew. I mean, Bellew got knocked the fuck out by Donna Stevenson. So there's no reason a steroided up David Haye heavyweight shouldn't be able to do the same to him. Those ones are at the bottom tier for me. What you got?
I think the most major one is the Rung Vasai.
Mm-hmm.
Because, as you said, it's who he beat and how he beat him. And nobody was expecting either thing.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that's the upset of the year, because, well, that's the number 2. Because nobody was like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck? Like, you didn't expect, it's like he broke him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it.
Yeah, and he's not. Let me see. Yeah, he's on my list. He's at the top. I guess since you got him there, I'm gonna tell you that he's my top guy, for the same reasons we know. He made a statement, that's for sure. My right up below that for me was Horn over Pacquiao. I mean, he didn't deserve the win, but it still was tough in spots for Manny, especially down the stretch. I think that's where people kind of turned like, well, I think he could have won. Like, he didn't win. I think Manny outlanded him like more than 2-1. And Manny's not a pity pat guy. So, it's not like you can say, well, those shots weren't that big. No, he didn't. But the fact that you didn't know who this guy was, and the fact that he actually has people saying, no, I think it was legit. I think that's the biggest shock, because nothing shocked me more was when they read those scorecards and knew. It's like, what the fuck?
That's why that's my actual upset of the year. Not because it's because of people's reaction to it.
Mm-hmm.
The whole year's gone by. How many times have we said it was a robbery or petty theft?
Mm-hmm.
With Manny, it was like people just got tired of Manny all of a sudden. So
yeah,
it was the upset of the year because people weren't really that upset about it. I'm like, damn, it looked like a setup going into it. But
yeah, I mean, what's Manny doing fighting in Australia anyway?
Man,
He should have had that homecoming in the Philippines, man. I mean, come on now. We did the guy who made the biggest jump to superstardom. How about the superstar who fell the most?
Number 3, Keith Thurman.
Mm.
Because of what you talk about, the inactivity and the thing with Spence just now.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he would have said, I'll fight him, and then, I'll fight him in 4-5 months, people would look at him like, okay, we're going to have a great fight on our hands. Like, he went from controversial but a great fight with Danny Garcia to I'm disappearing. And then people like, man, you know what? He's teeter-tottering on that Adonis Stevenson irrelevant thing too. Because we've been mentioning one time for about 2-3 years consistently.
Mm-hmm.
Going to be, he's going to be that guy. But in the ring, he shows it.
Yeah.
But in his activity, no.
There's so much in between time. It's like, you done forgot about him. Then you see him and you're like, oh, yeah, that's right. He is good. And then it's like, oh, where the hell's Keith Thurman been? My number 3 is Manny Pacquiao. And the reason that he's down there is because, look, he's 38 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He started at 108 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're that small, when you're 38, you might as well be 58. Is the guy getting that ladder out? Does he know that we're doing a show here? Every time we come outside, everybody wants to work. No, but that's why he's there for me. Not because, like, he would be one of the most, but at his age, I mean, it's not like it's unexpected. And the fact that, do we even know if he's going to fight again? He probably will, but, he's back to, he's down to one time a year, as far as I'm concerned. They'll find him another one. He's got to get paid. He's got to pay all that campaign money back that he spent. But number 3 for me is Manny Pacquiao. Who's your number 2?
Sucks to say this. Chocolatito. Because people just ran away from him like he was a leper. One loss, I'm done with him. Like, it's not that serious, B. Like, yeah, it was a messed up loss, but he went from a pound for pound number 1 guy who ever like, yeah, he got robbed the first fight to, they treat him like a child molester in boxing. So yeah, that's the number 2.
Number 2 for me is Sergey Kovalev, and I'll tell you why. Yeah, he came back with that win over Shabransky a few weeks ago, but the way that he lost, the people almost think like he just kind of gave up. Not as much quit, because the last shot was a low blow. There were other low blows, whatever, but the reason he fell off the most was because that mystique. The crusher that mystique is gone. He's got a long way to go to build that shit back up. Because even after the first loss to Ward, most people thought he won the fight. So that mystique was not gone. It was like, oh, that's bullshit. It was a controversy. Yeah, he won that fight. But that second fight, it was the way that he lost it, that mystique. It's almost like you're supposed to be a killer, and it looked like you got the fight taken out of you. I mean, it was such a fall from grace in the minds of most boxing fans. I mean, what we saw that in this last fight was like, okay, it's still a little bit there, but we need to see, because we need to see him push. Because what happens? He gets hit in the mouth again, or gets hit low in the body. How is he going to react then? So we still don't know, and that's why I put him above Manny, was because it's kind of expected with Manny, but the way that it went down with Kovalev was, to me, totally unexpected. So who's the guy who fell the most?
I got 2 number 1s. No, one of them is Manny, because he was so high up in superstardom. Where he's at right now, it just seems so low.
Mm-hmm.
And the other number 1 is Adrian Broner, because at this point, he has to hope to be taken seriously at 140 by beating somebody for a title. Because when people mention his name, they hear the name, the star power, but they think of antics. They don't think of fighter. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So he's not famous for fighting. He's famous for, you know what I'm saying? So that's not star power as far as to me, as far as, fighting. Like, I'm not gonna watch football and say, oh man, this guy has the best end zone dances, but he's the third string receiver. Like, I can't take it seriously. So that's why.
For me, number one was Chocolatito. Um, um, obvious reasons. Look, he went from in 1 year, he is the widely considered number one fighter in the world to, hey, I don't know if he's got anything left, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, well, we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know what he's got left. I mean, well, he's gonna have to pick and choose carefully going forward. But I mean, same reasons you said, man. I mean, it's just, it not only was it a fall from grace, it was a quick fall from grace. To how rare is it that somebody goes from the number one guy to like, he might be the fifth best guy at 115. It's like, I don't have, like, the fifth best guy in his division, the number one guy in all of boxing to the fifth guy in his division. That's a quick, fast drop. For me, Chocolatito is the biggest drop from superstardom. Where are we at? We're at number 9, I think. And the biggest clown, the Adrian Broner. The Adrian Broner Award. I want to start this. Number 4.
Oh, you got 4.
This one's not really. This is actually to the listeners, and only some. If you actually paid for Mayweather and McGregor, you're a fucking clown. I guess most of the people won't listen to it because most of the people who bought it was MMA people, not necessarily boxing people. You're a fucking clown. You knew what you were getting with that shit, man. Come on, man. Still haven't seen it. That was my number 4. You know what? Number 3 for me, honestly, the biggest clown was Keith Thurman. The way he behaved after such a big win, it was just like a clown move. It's like, come on, man. Who are you? I mean, I don't even, like, you were considered the best welterweight in the world, and now all of a sudden it's like, he's one of the best, but, I don't think he wants that. I don't think he wants that Errol Spence trouble. And it's now people are like, I think Crawford might get him. It's like he went from the best welterweight in the world to the third best welterweight in the world in a lot of people's eyes without even fighting. Yeah. So, I mean, it's like, honestly, it's just the way that he behaved. It kind of reminded me of the Cotto thing. Cotto, I want to see, I want to fight Canelo next. Well, what about Triple G? Yeah, it's that type of deal, man.
The fight that I should have put in for upset of the year was Ali. But anyway, number 3 for me, I know people going like, what? Floyd. Because of something he did recently. I just happened to be online kicking it, just bored, people scrolling through. Floyd, they have a clip of Floyd online talking, and he's like, you know what? Subscribe to this person's page. And that's where I say that, if I'm fighting again, I say it on there. I'm like, what? Say, dog. I could get a 3-fight $1 billion deal in the UFC. Look,
in the UFC?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, you'd be on 3.
So you see my point. I'm like, Floyd, what is you doing? First of all, you have turned it into Sugar Ray Leonard. Everything that you said, I'm done. It's like Kevin Hart when he said, you can't get in an argument with your wife and forget stuff. You look like an idiot. Yeah. I'm done with you. Then you got to come back. I forgot my keys. I'm sick of your shit. Then you come, oh, shit, my wallet. I'm done with you. Quick, kiss my ass, bitch. I got to get the baby. I'm like, dog, I thought I swore you said, I'm never fighting again no matter how much money they go. I've done it all. I did it. And you have. But you are so schizophrenic right now. And then some of the things you just, like, it's one thing when he was fighting, I get the marketing part, because if you play on certain people's hatred for you, they're going to pay to see you hopefully get beat. But now it's just like, okay, you go to the UFC, you're going to get Kimbo sliced.
Yeah.
I hate to say that, rest in peace, but you're going to get it's not going to go well.
You're going to get Kimbo sliced and diced.
Yeah.
And how about saying, Lomachenko robotic and no power, fought a guy coming up 2 weight divisions, didn't knock him out. He made him quit. How did that Juan Manuel fight go? How many knockouts did you get, buddy? Come on, man. It's like he gets him and Oscar, man. It's like sometimes you two shut the fuck up.
Oh,
Come on, both of y'all, man. You're supposed to be promoters right now. All you do is promote your goddamn selves, man.
which is another reason why. He's put in the spotlight. Like he has to learn to take it to the back. You know, he can speak for fighters because when he speaks for his fighters, I understand it. Because he's trying not, since he knows the business well, if he's trying not to put them in a situation with their own mouths that, you know, like I've been there, I ain't gonna let them do you like that. But he's too much in the spotlight sometimes.
Number 2 for me, 2 words only, no reason why. I mean, I don't need to even give any reasons why. Donna Stevenson.
Whew.
Enough said.
Number 2 for me. Hate to say it, Tank. Cause the debacle with the weight, the debacle with him, people feeling like he was dirty, the debacle with the standing over the guy. Like me personally, I'm like, it's a fight, act a fool, whatever. But you know, the debacle with not having decorum to understand. Look, at certain times you got to gauge your situation and don't do certain things. And the Twitter beefing.
Yeah.
It's like, chill out. You sit down somewhere, man. Even the back and forth with you're good with Floyd, you're not good with Floyd. Like you AB 2.0. I mean, right now. So I mean, you clowning.
Speaking of AB, he's my number 1. This is the namesake for this actual category. The biggest clown was the Adrian Broner Award, just like the
Tyson Fury too was the time.
He was, and he I think he was there last year. Just like Adonis Stevenson is the poster child, the namesake for our fighter who lost the most without actually losing a fight award. Broner is Broner. And you got your ass handed to you by a smaller dude. Who's he supposed to fight? Omar Figueroa next? Is that where you're falling to? 2 guys who can't make weight? It's a perfect matchup. 2 guys who have underachieved. Yep. It's a perfect matchup. Your fight against Figueroa is an indicator of exactly where you are. You're fighting your Mexican doppelganger.
Damn.
You know? That's who you're fighting, man. That's Adrian Broner, the namesake. He wins biggest clown.
My number 1 is Oscar De La Hoya.
I can't argue with that either. I just went on talking about how you shut the fuck up.
How do you tell a world that you need to boycott the Floyd fight, and then turn right around and say, I'll fight Conor McGregor? How the fuck? Like, what? Really? How you gonna go around, I think the fight was rigged, and turn right, and people look at the Triple G Canelo fight like, I think that shit was rigged.
Yeah.
Like, you need to sit your ass down because you are... Let me put the equivalent to it. There was a time when T.I. was the biggest rapper in the world. And there was a time when at the same time, he was the dumbest criminal I've ever seen in my life. And you know what? You're T.I. 1 minute you got the video in the movie popping, the next minute you buying guns at a damn before a war show. Like, what the hell is wrong with Oscar? Next year, he's going to start his own PBC.
Yeah, no shit.
I'm suing him, but I'm going to start my own.
Biggest clowns, Oscar and Adrian Broner. And I'll give you a heads up. 2018, it's probably going to be Broner for me again, unless something crazy happens. All right, 10th one, man. The prospect of the year that didn't or win or fight for a title. For me, number 3, all 3 of these guys are going to fight for a title either next fight or sometime next year. Jose Ramirez. He made that jump to where people actually take him very serious now. He's going to fight Amir Imam for the interim title, so that he will not be in it next year. But Jose Ramirez, he made a huge jump. The fact that you're selling the most tickets of any U.S. fighter, I mean, you can't argue with it.
This is going to be interesting. Rougarou.
Oh, yeah, that's a nice one, too.
You know, And I can see his stardom slowly rising. Like, people are like, who the hell? He's right there. He's right there.
Yeah, exactly. You got Prograis, you got Imam, you got Ramirez, you got Josh Taylor. You got Mikey Garcia going up to 140, fighting for a title. I mean, 140. I thought, and the one thing that I wrote when I wrote the article for New Age Boxing was that the actual leaving of that division by Crawford after he unified opened that division wide open, and actually makes it pretty interesting because everybody said, well, there's nobody in 140 that's going to beat Crawford. Right. And so what happens is everybody was a tier below him, so now everybody is in a big giant cluster, and now let's fight to see who's going to be the best of them all. And I like Regis Prograis.
Number 2, you mentioned the name, Josh Taylor.
No, but he got a title. He got a smidgen of a title, right?
No.
Yeah, it's not really a
title. He's there, and people like in some ways out of nowhere, because we're not as abreast at the pond. Like, I ain't.
Yeah.
So I'm like, damn. Because when you said, I was like, yeah. I had somebody else. I was like,
there it is.
Yeah. So he's there.
For me, Jojo Diaz is number 2. He's got a fight coming up with Gary Russell, but it took him a while to get there. And look, the one thing Jojo is never in is a bad fight.
True.
So his fight with Gary Russell should be no different. Will he have enough to overcome the speed? Maybe. But, I mean, everybody is high on Jojo. He's a likable guy. He's a fun style fight. A U.S. Olympian. How could you not love Jojo Diaz? And for me, number 1 is Gvozdyk, Alexander Gvozdyk. I mean, he's still, like I said, nobody is talking about him, but he's so high up in these rankings that people, unless he's Eleider Alvarez, he's going to just keep on taking step aside money or something, but people are going to have to deal with those kind of issues, man. Gvozdyk, to me, is he is a boogeyman amongst prospects, man.
Jojo is my number 1 because I've been rocking with this boy for years.
I know.
So he's right on the cusp. So
yeah, exactly.
I got to do it.
Number 11, round of the year. You know what? I got one only. There's really one round that really stands out to me. There was a couple. There was Ivan Baranchyk and Abel Ramos. It was a small fight on Showbox. I think the 3rd round was a really fun round. A couple knockdowns and stuff like that. That was fun. But for me, there's only one round that actually made me jump out of my seat, and that was round 5. Anthony Joshua, Vladimir Klitschko, because remember that fight was just kind of going along. Joshua was doing his thing. He's putting rounds in the bank, and he just comes out like a high school kid at the prom, right? He's gonna fucking just go for it all, shooter's load in 30 seconds, and he actually did. He knocks down Klitschko, and it looks like he's got him hurt bad. And then about a minute later, because he has literally shot everything he has, he is hanging on for dear life, and he damn near goes down. He goes down in the 6th round, of course.
Right.
But that round was such a back and forth. You have the stage of 90,000 people at Wembley. You have the stage of a heavyweight title fight, the passing of the torch between the old guard and the new guard. I mean, those are the moments that define a career, the beginning, the blossoming of a career. You know, those are this is the moment, like that round, and then round 11, 11 when he stopped him. Those are the rounds that they'll show. Like, this is where Anthony Joshua became a star.
My rounds of the year are similar, but for a different reason. My round of the year is something we spoke about before already. Number 3 is 11, because that changed the perception of both fighters in boxing after the fight was over.
That's true, because, one guy arrived and it was still like, man, Vlad, man, that motherfucker went out like a warrior. Like I said, erased every bad thing that people had to say about him for 10 years.
Right. And number 2, round 6, Rigo Lomachenko. Changed opinions of 2 fighters. You know, on a turn of a down. Just
Yeah.
You. Oh, go with the number one.
Yeah, go out because that was the only one I had. That was
Okay.
the only one I had. So.
My number one, it was an 8 or 9 with Ward and Kovalev.
The last run, yeah.
Because that was like, everybody's like, basically people's like, ain't no more Crusher.
Yeah.
That round just ain't no more Crusher. None. You know, who you just got, it's nothing you can say from this point on. You know.
Yeah. Your rounds were defining in different ways. And that's the fun thing about our shows. We always kind of look at shit in a different way. And this is why we don't try to come to consensus, because it's like, we can hear the same thing, but think about it in two different ways. And you know what I mean? What do we got? The KO of the year? Number 12 KO of the year. There's a few. There is a few. I'm going to go, let's see. I know who my 2 and 1 are. Okay, honorable mention is, I don't even remember the guy who he fought, but Zolani Tete. The 11-second knockout. Just for the fact that it was 11-second knockout. And let's be honest, the guy he fought was indescript, man. Nobody knows who the 18th rated bantamweight is. You know, nobody knows that.
Ding.
Yeah,
Ding.
It was like, what did Chris Rock say? About, it was like the opening of a club. Grand opening, grand closing. The same thing. Like, opening round, fight's over. It was like, you know what it was? Remember that, was it the movie Hot Shots or some shit like that? And they were doing a boxing scene, and it was like, oh no, Don King's got both these fighters. A good one. And he swings and misses, the guy just falls down, and it's over like in 11 seconds. Same idea, man. Tay-Tay, man, announce his name.
My top 3, different reasons. Similar, but different reasons. Number 3 is Eubanks. When he knocked out the guy that was talking all the, was it Yabrim? Durham?
No. Yeah, it was in that World Boxing Super Series. Why can't I think? The guy, the trainer, I'm going to fuck your wife. I'm going to fuck your wife in your bed.
That's why, because the knockout and the pose after, like, I'm still not saying that. That was like a video game trash talking moment. Just because of the pose after was like, say something else.
Yes, indeed, man. Number 2 for me was David Lemieux, his knockout of Curtis Stevens. I mean, it was just like, he had that look again in his face like Triple G done hit him, you know what I mean? It was like, we thought Lemieux could beat him, but we didn't think it was going to be that quick and that easy.
True.
And the same reason that a lot of people said, there's no way that Billy Joe Saunders lasts with this guy.
True. Number 2, Charlo Hatley. Because that's the brother that's not supposed to be knocking people out.
Mm-hmm.
And he would be, you know, I heard the boy's mama come, that baby, get up. That boy ain't getting up. Mm-mm. You know, just that he got close to the same type of knockout his brother did. And once again, it came to keep running your mouth. Keep running your mouth. See what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. So I had to give him that one.
You know what? I did have that. I had actually at 3, because I said the honorable mention for Tay-Tay, so I forgot the 3, which was the same one, Charlo and Hatley, because you didn't expect him to do that. And it was like, he was out. But for me, number 1 was Mikey Garcia's 3rd round knockout of Dejan Zlatikanen. Because remember, Mikey was still coming back. Yeah, he had the 1 fight back. And it was like, look, Zlatikanen is no joke. He is a banger. He can give Mikey some trouble. People thought eventually Mikey would just box his ears off. But I don't think people expected him to bludgeon him for 3 rounds. And when he knocked him out, he was out. As he fell, the fight was over. It was over. Mikey Garcia, he put that stamp like, oh, motherfucker, I am back.
He did do that. My number 1, I still can't pronounce the name. Say it again for me.
Dorticos?
There you go.
Against Kudryashov.
Because he had him slumped like a movie Viking in the ring. I was like, yo, he's dead, son. He's dead. He's on his knees dead. and you knew it was going to be a knockout fight because both fighters were knockout artists, but he hit him and it was just like the bottom fell out of his body. So I was like, yo.
And he fell as slow as he punched. Dude, that was the best part. Kudryashov was slow as hell, and he fell about real slow with it. Like,
Slow mo.
I can't wait for him to fight Gassiev in the next round. Okay, schooling of the year. This was the one because everything was based around bangers, and was like, we need to do a schooling of the year for the boxer part of it. There's a few. I got Taylor, O'Hara Davies, Josh Taylor, fucking schools him, talking mad shit through the whole fucking lead up of the fight. Josh Taylor puts a stamp on, I have arrived. These guys, we're prospects, but there are two different levels of prospects, and this motherfucker's the lower level.
School number 3, Mikey Broner. Because people's like, Mikey's the better fighter. But everybody knew he was the better fighter. Everybody knew he could outclass him, but he still basically shut him out. And Broner knew, as much as he talked, I better do something. He still couldn't do nothing with it. When you know what's coming and you still can't do nothing with it, oh, that's it, man. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
3 for me was Lomachenko and Rigo, because he schooled a teacher. It's one thing to school a guy who's not that great of a boxer, or like somebody you think that is a great boxer. That could be, you know what I mean? But when you know that somebody is an amazing boxing talent and you make him look pathetic, and look, it's not like he did a lot of damage against Rigo. He really didn't. But he made him look a fool and made Rigo have one game plan. Rigo had one game plan. He literally took everything away from him. Hey, he may have got old overnight. I don't know, because he didn't move very much. He looked slow, whatever. It doesn't matter. He fucking toyed with him. And you would think the pride, if nothing else, would have kicked in on Rigo. Lomachenko was, for me, number 3.
I hate to do it. But number 2 for me is Jack Cleverly. Because he came in there, the smaller fighter. Everybody knew what he had to do to win. And he really took it to his ass. He really took... I'm taking your body out. You know it's coming. You big dude. Watch what I do to you. I'm going to wear you down. I'm going to get you out of there. And, everybody, that's Cleverly. That was his shot. You know what I'm saying? He really just... You're not ready for this level when he was the one with the advantages on that level. So
what's funny is I forgot about that. And see, look, again, you think one day we'd write this shit down. And we don't. We play this shit from the top of our head. I forgot about upset of the year. I forgot to put Caleb Truax over DeGale, man.
Shit.
Because no bigger upset, because Truax was a guy who just wasn't thought of as anything. And this was supposed to be a comeback, get right fight for DeGale. And now people are questioning, is DeGale even going to fight anymore? Number 2 for me was Mikey Garcia, 2 different times, 2 different schoolings. Dejan Zlatikinen and his fight against Adrian Broner, because he schooled him in 2 different ways.
Yeah.
I can beat the fuck out of you, or I can school the shit out of you. Which one do you want? That was a little tactic I used to use when I get in fights. Tell me how you want. Do you want me to choke you out, or you want me to knock you out? Which one do you want? I used to tell people, which one do you want?
pick your poison.
Pick it. Whichever one you want. Okay, I'll take you out that way.
My number 1 schooling of the year was Ward Kovalev. Because Kovalev knew what was coming. He complained about it. He talked about it. He was like, I got no excuses. I'm going to get my stuff back. And Ward's the same Ward. You know what I'm going to do to you. You know who you are. I know what, and even Virgil predicting, I think he's gonna stop him. And what happened? He went out there and did the exact same thing he did the last half of the fight and made him quit. But what made it crazier was, in Kovalev's recent fight, what did they say? He learned to go to the body to finish the fight. He must have learned that from getting beat by Ward. So I'm like,
that's good though. I mean, it means he learned something.
Right. So if he got schooled and he used it in his next fight to win.
For me, it was Jorge Linares' schooling of Anthony Crawler.
Yeah, you're right.
Because Crawler, everybody likes Crawler. They like the story. But, I mean, he just showed a different level of skill in that fight. Didn't show it so much in the next fight against Flanagan. But you know what? Whatever. In that fight, it was a master class. There was literally zero that Crawler could do to stop Linares. Linares did what he wanted, when he wanted to do it, and how he wanted to do it. There was just that it was like a painting. He was just he was just painting a picture in there, like he was doing it his way. You know what I mean? Fight of the year. Ooh, we're getting to the big boys now. We got 3 left, huh?
I'm about to just F this up majorly.
Go ahead, man. Start it off.
Got 3 of them or just?
I just got 2.
Cause okay, my number 2, fight of the year. These are fights for different reasons. Mm-hmm. Fight of the year is Triple G Canelo, because to this day, it still has controversy. We wanted it. It kind of lived up to the hype, but it didn't, because both fighters switched what we think was approaches in a sense. So both fighters, you're looking at them like, I think Triple G won the fight, but why wasn't you Triple G? Like, why wasn't you going to bang? I think Canelo, he kind of made it close, but did he really win? But he really was hitting him with the hardest shots. So it's that Hagler-Leonard debate of who really won, because you got 2 different things. Mm-hmm. So even though it wasn't what the fans per se wanted, it's still on everybody's mind. So that's my number 2.
For me, number 2, and this is because it's fresh, and it just happened. We never even talked about it. John Molina stopping Ivan Baranchyk this past weekend, just because it's so fresh. And a guy, Johnny Molina, gets hurt and knocked down in the 2nd round, hurts Red Catch in the 3rd, stops him in the 4th. 1 round less, it could have been the Hagler-Hearns fight of the year if he would have just got the stoppage in the 3rd round, because it's so fresh. And just looking at that fight from a distance, you're like, that's going to be a fun fight. Those 2 styles were made to just go at each other and just bang and just fucking have a fight of the year type fight. I'll go ahead and do my number 1. My number 1 is easy for me. It was easy. As soon as I saw it, I was like, there's no way that this fight is not the fight of the year for me. And that was Anthony Joshua, Vladimir Klitschko. I mean, how many times can we say this? Biggest stage, best division, most glamorous division, passing of the torch. 2 knockdowns. Well, knockdown with both guys. 2 knockdowns for Joshua, or 3 knockdowns for Joshua, 1 for Klitschko. It looked like Klitschko was done at the beginning of the 5th. It looked like Anthony Joshua was dead on his feet in the 6th, and somehow in the 11th, it all comes back. I mean, he got to sit back for a few rounds, get his bearings about him. In the 11th round, he's like, all right, this is it. I got the old guy where I need him to be now, finally. I may have did it a little bit too early the first time. He still had too much left in the tank. True. But, I mean, that stage, it just kind of it harkened back to a time past with the heavyweight division.
That is also my number 1 fight, but since you explained it so perfectly, I would say my 1B, Francois Chocolatito, because you're watching it expecting something completely. You're not expecting Chocolatito to get outclassed, and you're watching him get outclassed and beaten badly, and you're like, this dude got 2 different last names, and he's coming in here looking like a Hall of Fame all-time great right now. And it's exciting to watch, but then it's bittersweet, because it's kind of like when the sad music comes on in the movie and the hero dies. You're like, no, don't let him do that to you, baby. Like, so that would be my 1B.
So hey, one time we have a unanimous. What do you know? And look, I have the one I made up last year was the Hagler-Hearns, the best fight in the 3 rounds. Why is it fun? Because 1, you get a great fight, and 2, you get to fuck in and out in like 15 minutes. I mean, there's nothing better than that. Like, man, I ain't got very much time to watch this fight. Perfect. You can put that shit on. You can watch it on break at work. That's how quick these fights go. And for me, it was David Lemieux and Curtis Stevens. He had a great build-up, a shit talker, and Stevens, a guy who is highly confident in Lemieux. Stevens went to take his head off, and in the end, David Lemieux takes his head off in 3 rounds, knocks him out, gets maybe the knockout of the year. Probably, and a lot of people's is going to be right up there with it.
Yeah,
it's hard to beat for 3 rounds of fury. It's hard to beat that one, man.
I mean, you hit that head. But since you did that one, I'm gonna go Tay Tay, because that was
even better.
That was hello. Go. Ding, it's over.
You're like, man, I got 15 seconds to watch one fight. What am I going to do?
The bad part about it was, I can't even consider that Hagler-Hearns, because boy didn't get throw a punch. He got hit with the hook, and it was it. It's bap. Yeah, this shit's over. Pack this shit up.
Oh, we've come to the final category of the year. The number one, everybody always has this, fighter of the year. So often I get a guy that I don't want to give it to. And, in this landscape where people are fighting 2 times a year, to me, you have to look for who beat the best guy. I think it's going to be obvious once we get to where we're going. I'm going to go through my 3 honorables before I get to the number one guy. Lomachenko is on there. Mikey Garcia is on there. They had great victories, different ways, schooled people. And Terrence Crawford would be my number 2. He's going to move up to welterweight. But the fact that you make history with, especially nowadays, yeah, people have done it in the past, but nowadays to win all 4 belts, it just doesn't happen. You have to get credit for that. You have to, and look, you say, well, this guy wasn't this, or this guy wasn't that. Look, he beat everybody. He beat Postal to get the other title. He beat Indongo to get the rest of them. I mean, come on, man. I mean, you have to give the guys props for accomplishing something at 140 that nobody had. Not since 4 belts was around.
My number 3, once again, wrong beside. He beat the best twice, emphatically. The second time. In the same year, basically. You can't shit like your dude did it. Number 2, Lomachenko. Like, you can't look. He did what he had to do. No matter, I don't care how you slice it, he did what he had to do, and he did it impressively. So that alone makes him a fighter of the year. Now, number 1 is Terrence Bud, a.k.a. beating up dudes, Crawford, because, like you said, undisputed. Undisputed. Like, that doesn't... People don't realize the significance of that because why was Mike Tyson so bad? Because they had a picture of him holding every damn belt on the planet. People forget Zab had every belt on the planet. Like, having every belt and then moving up basically says you're the man. And the problem with that is that I just can't get around at this point is he's the reason that 140 has become exciting because he left it.
Yeah. He had to leave it for it to become exciting.
So, fighter of the year.
And for me, it's like I always go back to the same criteria. Who beat the best guy? And that was I can never do the first name. Sorong Vasai. 2 wins. Yeah, I didn't agree with the first one, but you know what? He emphatically said, yeah, you know what? Maybe I did beat him because I beat the fight out of him in the second fight against Chocolatito. You beat the number 1 guy. You can't go past that. For me, yeah, it's super flyweight, so people will kind of, ignore it. There will be some who will be like, whatever, it's 115, whatever. Like, man, yeah, so you can't argue with Sorong Vasai. It just is what it is. You beat the number 1 guy. To me, you're the fighter of the year in my eyes. Like I said, unless people are going to start fighting 4 times a year, then it's hard to argue with anything else than that. That's the only way I can do it. I can't argue with Crawford. That's why he was my number 2. The way that he did it, the in front of Omaha's crowd, unifying the titles. Bud Crawford, Rung Vasai, our 2 fighters of the year. JP, we did it again. 1 more year. We're starting our 6th year now. It was a great year, a fun year. Hopefully 2018 will be half as good as 2017.
Let's just wait. Let's just make it happen first. So this is where the fighters fight and the fans commentate.
And one more thing. I want to thank everybody who's hung in there with us all these years, all the people who jumped aboard this year. We thank you. Next year I'm going to do a new category next year, Listener of the Year. Gotta stay in contact with us. Like JP said, this is where the fighters fight, the fans commentate, and we do it just like you from the cheap seats, because we ain't buying no tickets. God damn it, peace and Merry Christmas, motherfuckers. Call me crazy, but no one can fake me. I'm the product of